Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another album review. My name is Christian Eschbach. Well, everybody, it looks like we're going to do a little kiss and makeup here. Oh, a whole lot of putty. Okay. Kiss, Creatures of the Night. Okay, so I'm going to start with the most basic thing that needs to be said right off the bat. This is a shame. Vinnie Vincent got ripped off here. Ace Frehley was still a member technically of the band at this point, but Ace Frehley did not play on this album at all. Ace Frehley has no writing credits on this album at all. Ace Frehley had no involvement in this album. That really should be the Pharaoh on there, and it really kind of bums me that it is not the Pharaoh on there. Especially considering I think the next album was Unmasked, so. Okay, we've gotten through that. Now let's get into the music. Okay, so first off, this album I already mentioned Vinnie Vincent's on it. It's also Eric Carr on the drums on this one, and then you've got Gene and Paul. Now, who else played on this album? I don't know. It's Kiss. It could have been anybody else. I want to think that the whole band still played on here, but the band typically wrote with other people most of the time. Adam Mitchell wrote with Paul Stanley, Michael Japp, or Yap, I'm not sure how that's supposed to be. Adam Mitchell again, Adam Valance, Adam Mitchell again, Vincent Cusano, which is Vinnie Vincent. Paul Stanley and Vincent Cusano, Gene Simmons, Vincent Cusano, and then Gene Simmons, Adams Valance. Apparently, Gene and Paul can't write together. I don't know. At this point, they just couldn't work together anymore as musicians, and that's one of those things that I know carried on, and even was before this. Like you got to really wonder. Okay, so all that out of the way, all that being said, all that lovely garbage at the beginning. Okay. How do I feel about the music itself? Okay, so one more tidbit of information before I get into all the music. When it comes to Kiss, I actually only own one album that is from the original group, and that is Love Gun. Believe it or not. The only original group album I own that is not a live album and is not a collection of greatest hits. Okay, so now that I've got that out of the way, most Kiss albums I own are all believe it or not, are actually all from the Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer era and going for all the later stuff, and the post reunion stuff. It's really weird how that worked out. And it's just because I like Kiss, but I'm not a huge Kiss fan. I go through bits and phases where I pick up Kiss albums. This one, when I bought it, was the right price. I bought it 2 for $25. The other album I bought with it was Megadeth's 2022 release, which I don't remember the name of off the top of my head at the moment. It'll be coming up soon in the covers. Anyways, songs, music. Let's get into it. This album is, I'm going to say it, you've gone through enough of this. This album is fantastic. I really should have bought this album sooner. There are a couple tracks on here I'm not huge on, and I really think that the producer on this album, Michael James Jackson, you've also got Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons on here. I believe that some of the lyrics should have been sent back and workshop a little more. Musically, there is no bad song on this album. Lyrically, there's a couple that are questionable. Creatures of the Night opens up this album. This is a great way to open this album. Oh my god, the way this thing just comes thundering in there and just like really grabs you. I mean, just grabs you and takes you running right off the bat. That is what a fucking lead track is supposed to do. Oh my god, that is what a lead track is supposed to do. That was brilliant. Satan Sinners is an album cut. It's not a bad album cut, but it's an album cut. Keep Me Coming, I'm not a fan of. This is one of those ones where it needed to be workshopped. The lyrics needed to be taken out, completely redone, and re-brought back in. I'm not a fan of the lyrics on this one at all. Then we get to Rock and Roll Hell. Okay, so I know this one better from the Ace Frehley cover that I've actually already talked about in one of my reviews. So go check out the review for that one. It was Ace Frehley's solo album. Let's see if I can bring it up real fast here because I don't remember if it had a name or if it was just Ace Frehley. And it's not on my computer apparently. Okay. So I'm not checking that real fast. I guess I gotta go fix that problem. Okay, anyways, I know I've covered the Ace Frehley solo album, and Rock and Roll Hell was one of the covers that Ace Frehley did, which is really hilarious considering it's on this album and Ace didn't play on it. So basically, Ace was upset. He went back and he redid it himself where he played the guitar on it. I'm going to say I like the Ace Frehley version better for the modern production and sound in it, the sound engineering and the mixing and whatnot. I think is way better on it. I think it has a much richer, fuller sound than the version on here is. But I would absolutely love to have been able to get the entire band that put this together. Obviously, we can't do it. Eric Carr's not around anymore. I would love to get the original group together that did this and record it with the same technology and engineering that they used for Carnival of Souls. Just give it that thick, dark, rich, heavy sound that it needs. But otherwise, brilliant song. I love it on here, man. I sing this sucker to the nines. I crank this sucker up. There are 2 songs on this album that when they come on, I grab the remote control for the stereo and I just crank it if I'm home. Rock and Roll Hell is the first one. You're going to be surprised at what the second one is. That's followed up by Danger. Danger is actually a really good track. I think the problem with Danger is in the wrong place on this album. I think Danger should not have come after Rock and Roll Hell. Danger possibly should have come before that, where Keep Me Coming is. I think Keep Me Coming would have been better going into, or Keep Me Coming would have been better coming off of Rock and Roll Hell, since to me it wasn't that great a song anyways. So if you're going to have not that great a song, throw it in there. Okay, then we get to the classic, Loud, I want to hear it loud, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I love it loud, okay? So it's a great anthem stadium track without a doubt, and it's one of those ones that definitely get the crowd revved up and whatnot, as it is on the album. I don't give a shit. And no, it is not the one I crank up, but the next track is okay. So if you're one of my regular viewers, you know how I feel about slow songs, ballads, love songs, etc., etc. Most of the time I find them very boring, and it's the rare one that I really get into. This is the rare one. I Still Love You. I take this sucker and I just turn it right the fuck up. The production on this one. This is one where I think this song was way ahead of its time. This song, if this song would have been in place on any album after this album going after, on one of the earlier ones, no. This is an album, though. This song on this album is something that just is absolutely spectacular. And for the production they used on the time, I almost would have thought that this was Mutt Lange produced, with the way that it sounds, with the way they punch the vocals and push them and whatnot. It is just spectacular. This is also one of those reasons and one of those songs that when Paul Stanley got to do a run as the Phantom of the Opera, I totally supported it because of a song like this, and I knew what he could sound like. Brilliant. Then we get into Killer. I'm not sure how I feel about Killer. Killer would have been really good, but the lyrics needed to be reworked. I'm not a fan of the lyrics on that one. And that goes with the same on the next song, War Machine. Now, normally I would rip on Kiss for how juvenile their lyrics are and how they usually tend to revolve around sex. Prime example being, Keep Me Coming kind of being tongue-in-cheek, and they've got, multitudes of others, right? Like this is Love Gun. I already mentioned the album Love Gun, right? Okay. So War Machine is one of those songs where I really think that they screwed up and should have went dirty with the lyrics and didn't. All right. Sorry for all the breaks in there. My allergies have been really bad. It's that time of year. It's getting into spring. Mold counts are up. All those pollen counts are up. Everything's up. Sneezing like crazy. Anyways, all right. So as I was saying with War Machine, I think Sex Machine would have been better. Honestly, I hate to say it. I also have to say that, like I said, there is no bad song on this album musically. It's just the lyrics. And, Keep Me Coming is one of the ones, Killer is one of the ones, and War Machine is one of the ones. But they're still really good tunes otherwise, they're not bad. When the album's playing, I really get into them, really enjoy them. So the question is, would I recommend this album? Yes! Oh my god! How did I not buy this album sooner? This is a really good album. I mean, really, you really should get this one. And if you can do what I do, if you're here in Canada, Sunrise Records, I don't mean to give plugs, but Sunrise Records right now, that's where I bought this at. 2 for $25. Granted, when I say right now, I mean I bought it on March 17th. Weirdly, St. Patrick's Day. I just happened to be at the mall coincidentally. And no, not 17th, 18th, sorry, March 18th. And you're probably not going to see this video until May sometime, possibly June. So, at this point, I don't know if they'll still have it, but 2 for $25, totally worth it. If you can buy it used, totally worth it. I also forgot to mention, here at the very end, I'm going to throw this in real fast, this is the 40th anniversary remaster as well. So that's really good. Okay, folks, that's it. I'm done. I could go on a lot more about this, especially because Gene Simmons' bass work, if it is Gene on the bass on these songs, Gene Simmons' bass work on this album is really, really good. Like, way better than a lot of his past stuff. Anyways, let me know what you think, folks. Tell me down below. That is what the comment section is before. There's a couple links down there. If you check those out, that'd be great. There's a like button and subscribe button and bell for notifications. If you can hit those, that would be great as well. Otherwise, peace, love, take care.